Australian business confidence came out at the bottom of the hour, and we saw it plunge to the lowest level since April 2009 last month. Let's get some reaction to this data from Bill Evans. Bill is Westpac's chief economist. Bill Evans, thanks for joining us. Well, let's first of all find out why you think we're seeing this drop.
Well, it's hardly surprising given that the survey was conducted during late August when there's been so much volatility in the markets, and the weakness was very much centred around those sectors such as finance, business and property that would have been most adversely affected by concerns about the equity markets and the global contagion.
So it's not so much really about anything fundamental with the Australian economy, is what you're suggesting?
Well, I think we need to look at the other measure, which is business conditions, which is a sort of a, rather than just people saying what they're reading on screens, etc., but what's actually happening to their own businesses. And that went from -1 to -3. So there's weakness there. It's a gauge of various measures such as their employment plans, their sales and their profits. So there's weakness there, and the average in 2009 was around -3, so it's getting around that average, but at the weaker points of 2009 that number was around -15. So I think the bottom line is that things are deteriorating, but we certainly shouldn't be comparing them with that 08-09 period at this stage.
Yeah, what's it about? I mean, how much of this is down to what we often talk on this program about, which is this so-called two-speed economy that characterises what's happening in Australia?
Look, I'm sure I haven't seen the actual industry breakdown, but I'm sure those sectors such as manufacturing, retail, business, property and that, they're the ones that are focused on the domestic economy. They undoubtedly are doing a lot worse than the mining industry. And I think we have to expect that will continue over the course of quite some time while the Australian dollar remains as strong as it is.
Yeah, well, it's great for you guys to be able to go on a holiday with that strong Australian dollar. It must be hurting things at home, though, with fewer tourist numbers and tourist numbers falling.
Well, it's hurting there, and it's hurting with manufacturers that are looking to export. It's hurting the retail sector, particularly when it's combined with the desire by households to pay down their debt. So when you put all those points in together, and the problem for the Australian economy is that the mining sector only directly contributes about 2% of jobs, and these other sectors are the ones that are the big employers, and they're the ones that are hurting. So you would expect that the recent rises that we've seen in the unemployment rate will probably continue.
Right, just a final question here, Bill, also about the Aussie dollar. I mean, where do you see it going? I mean, can it maintain this strength?
Well, we expect that we'll be starting to see further, particularly further softening in Asia, and we also believe the Reserve Bank will eventually cut interest rates. The combination of that, I think, will lead to a modest weakening in the Aussie dollar. So we've got a target of around parity for the Aussie dollar by the end of the year and through most of next year.
Bill, thanks very much indeed for that. Bill Evans, chief economist at Westpac, joining us there from Sydney, just discussing those business confidence numbers.